Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Peak and Flow podcast. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I'm actually going to talk about a Facebook post that I put up, which is interesting. So one of the reasons being, writing is something that I've done for a very long time, and one of the reasons being is because I was struggling at the time and I started writing. You can actually, if you are connected to me on Facebook, there's still a section in there called Notes, and that's where I first started writing my blogs. I think back in 2011, maybe a little bit later, maybe 2013. It's only about 11 years, but either way, it was a way for me to, and I actually did a lot of writing when I was much younger, but that's another story. It was a way for me to really learn learn to express myself, actually learn English. I failed English in high school and college. I didn't actually complete it. I didn't enjoy reading the books they told me to read. So I read whatever books I wanted to read, I guess, later on in life, which helped me understand that I wasn't a bad learner. I was just stubborn. I was a stubborn learner. I wanted to learn what I found interesting, not just what I was told to do, funnily enough. But either way, I shared a post on New Year's Day, which is my birthday, and I do that most years. I don't write and share as much as I used to. I do a lot more audio and video. However, writing is something that I still love, and I still plan on publishing many more books as well. And I did have one or two people that have become friends with me over the past 12 months sort of mention, I didn't know you wrote things. I just thought you were bearded, tattooed dude that owned a gym and walked barefoot. I guess in a way I'm all of those things and none of those things. However, I want to share my post with you, and I actually want to break it down a little bit as well, in hope that it can resonate with you and you can pull something from it in the way that it's meaningful for me. So I'm just at the gym. There's a class about to start in like just under 10 minutes, so hopefully I'll get through this before it gets too loud. So let's see how we go. As this body turns 35, I sit here reflecting on the decisions and moments that have led me to where I am today. Now, straight away, I'm going to pull this apart as I go. As this body turns 35, one of the things, I had a psychedelic experience last year, and it married up to experiences I had non-psychedelic when I was younger, which is understanding that there's parts of me that have existed throughout the existence of the universe. It really is not separate to when the universe was born. It's within everything. Apparently the class is starting now early. So anyway, the music will go up in a sec. I apologize. However, that was one of the key things for me to understand, is that yes, this body's 35, but I shared a beautiful poem. If I haven't told you on these podcasts before, I'm going to share it on my stories again tomorrow, on my socials, or the day after, but I'll actually pull them apart again in one of these episodes as well, because they're beautiful and they talk about just a moment in time in my human experience. So, as this body turns 35, that's the same for everyone else, I sit here reflecting on the decisions and moments that have led me to where I am today. Earlier on, there were years where I attempted to escape my suffering, and that's in many different ways, whether it was distraction or whether it was thoughts of suicide or whether it was addiction, whatever the case might be. It was a way for me to escape my suffering. There's a line that, and I didn't write it here, but one of the things I did learn was that, and it's a little bit different, it's more nuanced than this, but suffering is not what the weak do, suffering is what the weak avoid. And that was a really important distinction for me. I tried to change the outside world to feel better on my inside world, right? I didn't feel good here, so let me change all the conditions out there to make whatever in here feel good. So then I'm always conditioned to go, if the outside world doesn't match what I think it should, then I won't feel good. I'm out of control. The outside world controls me, even though I'm attempting to control it. Whatever I control controls me. Moving on. Nor should it be. Mind you, I try to change the outside world to feel better on my inside world. What I had to learn was that a worthy life is not void of pain or suffering, nor should it be. It has been said that the meaning of life is to find meaning in the suffering. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. I've mentioned times before there were moments in my life where, had I had chosen a different path, I wouldn't be writing this. And I mean that in many different ways. One of the ways is I wouldn't have found a creative side. I wouldn't have learned to express myself. I would have just gone and done the mundane stuff that mundane Dave would have done. And that's neither here nor there, good nor bad, right nor wrong, just is. The other parts is that we're only a few small decisions away from driving my car off the road. Like, that's the reality of it. It's pretty interesting saying that objectively now, yet there were years where that thought brought me to tears. So, continuing on. But life's beautiful, man. Not because there is no pain, but because of what meaning you can give that pain. The antidote to suffering is not pleasure. I'll say that again. The antidote to suffering is not pleasure. The antidote to suffering is meaning. Now, later on I reflected and I missed something here. The antidote to suffering is not optimism. It's not positivity. The antidote to suffering is meaning. That's what I should have written. This idea that if I'm suffering, just be positive. That's not the antidote, right? It's like thinking that you blow a fire out on a candle, sure. But when there's a fire pit, you can't blow that out. It only enhances it. That's what happens. It's what positivity does to suffering. However, the antidote to suffering is meaning. So it is not an easy life one should wish for, but a meaningful one. Because it's beautiful, to feel old and young, weathered and youthful, wise and ignorant, to experience grit and grace, gratitude and selfishness, love and longing, to reflect and dream, to aspire and inspire, to love and to lose. And the reason why I wanted to share all those things is because that's legitimately exactly how I feel at this stage in my life. Is I know that all of those things exist within me and through me and will continue to do so and always have. And so to try and not have one means that we can't have the other. If all we ever want to do is feel young, then we'll never actually feel young because we're constantly trying to in the first place anyway. But there's beauty in being weathered. There's beauty in wisdom, right? There's beauty in ignorance. So it's being able to see that and accept that more than anything, right? To integrate it. To experience the full spectrum of what this life has to offer. It's beautiful that we get to be human for a little while. And the days, they pass, as do the years, like they always have. And amongst all the chaos we call life, we sometimes forget to do the most important thing. To enjoy the passage of time. Because it's beautiful that we get to be human, even if it is only for a little while. As for 2024, I wish you the lessons and strength you need to be the person you are capable of being. Love you all. D. To enjoy the passage of time. I shared a post on my Instagram. I can't remember where it was. I could be able to find it again if I wanted to. But that was it. Those 5 words. This whole post was to share those 5 words. To remind you that the good, the bad, the positive, the negative, all of it exists and it allows the opposite to exist. So you can't get rid of it. You embrace it. You integrate it. You accept it. And in doing so, we can give ourselves permission to enjoy the passage of time. Because one day, it ends. You know this. I know you know this. I know this. But reminding ourselves that that's what happens allows us to have perspective. It allows us to step into our future and offer ourselves hindsight. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this podcast beneficial, it was a little bit different to my normal ones, then it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. I do wish for you the strength that you are capable of and maybe that you require for 2024. I don't hope that this year is void of challenges. I hope that it includes the challenges that will stretch you to be able to become the person that you want. Because remember, when we set goals, we aren't setting our outcomes. We're setting the challenges we need to become the kind of person to own those outcomes. Remember that. It's going to be very useful for when times get hard. Because it's just a test. Alright, that's me done. I'm out. Until next time, peace and pizza. I'll see you soon. But actually, before I do go, Meet the Moment program, the last couple of spots for this quarter, this 6 months cohort is finishing up at the end of next week. It starts on the 22nd of January, and you don't have to be in Canberra, Australia to do it, but I've only got a couple of spots left. It's a pretty immersive 6-month program. It will help you completely change from where you are and get you to where you want to be. The next stage, your next stage, not anyone else's, yours. So if you're interested, reach out. I'm more than happy to put an hour aside and chat with you. On that note, I'm done. Until next time, peace and pizza. I'll see you soon.